that's Pamozi Philanthropic Advisors. They are also working alongside new site here in Liberia. They are already in studio. Let me welcome them. I have Mr. Chipo Chia from Zambia, and he's right here in studio, and also in here is Mr. Robert Fondolo. Of course, they are my guests on the program this morning. Let me welcome the both of you. Good morning and welcome, sir. Chia.
Good morning and good morning, listeners.
Did I get your name rightly?
Yes, you did. Yeah, so it's Chipo Chia.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Welcome to Liberia.
No, thank you very much, and I'm very excited to be in Liberia. It's a very lovely country.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Mr. Dolo, good morning again.
Yes, thank you and good morning. I'm very excited and impressed to be here this morning on your Super Morning Show to explain to the audience what are some of the activities we have been doing over the past few weeks and years. Thank you. And I mean, I'm always associated with New Site Art Center, so it still continues.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So, yes, let's hear you on this organization. What's the full name of this organization and what are your motives?
Okay, so Pamozi Philanthropy Advisors is a US-based organization, non-for-profit organization, a charitable organization that was funded 5 years ago in Connecticut, USA, with the involvement of Ford Extend Pricing, Karen King, who is a retired educator, and then Kate Cameron, who is an international developer, and then my good friend Chipo Chia, who is also an international developer. We both met. We have been working in the past as individual. And then when we met in Connecticut, we said, well, why don't we come together as a team to work together and then promote community-based rehabilitation program, community initiative program, and educational program, health program, just to name few. So we funded this 5 years ago, and since we funded it, we have initiated lot of projects, and the projects that we have initiated, they are in 3 countries in Liberia. In Togo, we have a project going on there. In Zambia, we have projects going on there, and also here in Liberia, we have projects going on there. And we do solicit funds from reputable institutions, donor foundations, and we have an authentic relationship with those community self-initiative projects, and then we make sure that those projects start and they are completed. So Chipo will talk more of that, but in Liberia, they are partnering with New Site Art Center and Caroline A. Miller School, and also with other communities that we also involve. So I am the in-country focused person for now.
So basically, this organization focuses on health. It's a health institution.
We go beyond health, also education.
Because the name alone tells somebody that it's a health institution.
No, Chipo
because it's a philanthropic advisors.
Yeah, Chipo is going to tell you what Pamozi means. It's a local language in, I think, East Africa or so.
Okay.
And then he's going to explain to you why we selected that name. But it's beyond health.
Yeah, beyond health.
We do community services.
Okay. It's community services like what?
Like educational program. Well, we do. What are some of the projects?
Are you involved with infrastructure development?
Yes.
Yeah.
You build hand pumps, all the things.
We go beyond that. We even go into macro loan projects.
Okay. Village saving loan. You provide funds for the market women.
We have that project in Togo, where we work with a cooperative, and then we give them a sum of money, and then they what loan that money to just like a market loan in Liberia. So, and then they give it to market women, farmers, and then they build their own capacity, and then they give a return investment on that loan that we gave them. And we have done that for the past 2 years in Togo, and it's working very well. We also work with community in infrastructure development. As you said, we build schools, we build teacher quarters, but we will talk more about those
Sure.
projects. I'm
Of
just
course.
giving you a summary of what
Yeah,
we do.
we
They
will,
are-
we will dive into them.
right.
Okay, but let me hear from Chipo. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you know about this Pamozi philanthropic advisors? How did the name emerge
Yes, Pamozi means together.
together?
Yes, you can probably find this word in Southern Africa. You can find this word in common in Central Africa and East Africa. So it means just together. And I think when we are trying to form this organization, we try to look for a name that means togetherness, because we are the co-founders. We are 4 co-founders, and we have Karen King from the United States of America. We have Kathy Cameron from Toronto, Canada, and we have Dr. Duro here from Liberia, and myself from Zambia. So we are a team with authentic relationships with the communities that we work with. And our coming together, we wanted to look for a name that means together, working together, coming together to put our ideas together for the good of the community, to create high impact projects. And I think, as Dr. Doro has said, we are working mostly with community-driven projects. And I would like to use the word organic-driven projects. So these are projects that are recommended by the communities. These are projects that are high priority from the communities, that they want to see projects that can get change. And yes, it's a range of activities from water, education, health, infrastructure,
So
and scholarships.
how do you go about taking projects in communities precisely here in Liberia? Do you do you do an assessment as an institution, or people walk to your offices and put forth their priorities?
Yes, that's a very good question. So in each country that we work with, we do have what we call the in-country partners. And here in Liberia, for example, we do have our country partner is the New Site Eye Center, which has authentic relationships with a variety of stakeholders in the country. So it could be community groups, it could be government institutions, for example, it could be church groups, it could be just any other groups. And that relationship that the New Site Eye Center has with the community is our route of entry. So from that interaction of the communities and the in-country partner, then projects get identified. So we have been talking to the communities that we are operating in, that here we are, because as you are aware, in many communities in Africa, for example, we are operating in we are navigating through a limited resource envelope, limited resource basket. Government is trying to do everything that they could do, but I think cooperating partners are coming in to bridge the gap to complement what government is already doing. So there are a number of times where a community group is not able to access funding for a simple project, for example, like a hand pump for water. So that community writes a proposal or approaches New Eyesight Center, for example, in the case of Liberia, and then we do a vetting process to see how that project is going to impact or have greater impact of that particular community.
Okay, but basically, you operate in Liberia. Won't you mind telling us some of your affected communities? Where are your target places?
All right. I think maybe
Okay, that'll do.
Robert can come in more around
So,
that.
in addition to what my friend just said, so if a community is identified, they submit a project to me as New Site Eye Center. And then I submit the project to our co-founders, and then we go through those projects and select the most impactful one. So for Liberia, for the past 3 years, we have been working with some groups and also some community, which I will just name.
Mm.
We work with the General Ophthalmic Association of Liberia. We give them funding to conduct training for their members. So General Ophthalmic Association of Liberia are all the eye care workers in Liberia. So they needed to have a scientific section where they bring all their members together and then provide training for them so that they can upgrade their skills. So that funding was given, and then the project was implemented, and they really appreciated that. And today, GO, which is GO, General Ophthalmic Association of Liberia, is abbreviated as GO. So today, GO now have a full membership. They have been able to establish a network among themselves where we communicate issues in our own various location. So which is very, very impressive. Additionally, we work with a community called Bunadin.
Is it Nimba?
It's in Nimba. Bunadin is in Nimba. Bunadin have a community clinic. And that community clinic have the ORCs, the midwife, assigned by the Nimba County Health Team. And these people are dwelling in the community dweller houses, which is not right. You can take a health worker from Monrovia or wherever, excuse me, and then they stop in community people houses, community dwellers houses. So we met, and then they submitted a proposal that, well, we need a staff quarter. And then that proposal was screenlined, and then we submitted it to PAMOSI. So initially they put in for 5 apartments. But then PAMOSI was able to fund that 5 apartment. They have done the first 3-bedroom apartment. And currently we just launched this on Sunday. So the house is a boarding house, and the staff will be moving there. It's only for health workers. So we are also working along with them to see how we can build one for the teacher too. So it was an initiative from the community. The community contributed, and then PAMOSI also contributed a good number of funding, almost 85% of funding. The rest of the 15%, the community mobilized it from well-wishers, and then we completed that project. Alongside that, New Side Eye Center thought there was a need to establish a rural eye clinic
in the same environment?
in Banga.
Okay, in Bon County.
In Bon County. So we went to PAMOSI, we said, well, this part of Liberia, the population is more, and we don't have eye clinic there. So can you guys help us to see how we can establish a rural eye clinic? And then they saw that it was an impactful project. So
is it the eye center at Phoebe Hospital
no,
compound?
no, it's in Banga
City.
Banga City
Okay.
itself, right around the Sunday market.
Okay.
So we constructed that. So it's a secondary eye center that we constructed, and we just launched that this coming Monday. So we also work with New Side Eye Center. They renovated. We have an ophthalmic training program at the New Side Eye Center. And then the students are from rural settlement. They come to town and they don't even have a place to stay. So we said, well, we have a building here that needs renovation. Can you help us to renovate so that when the students come from rural communities, they have a place to stay? They renovated that dormitory. So the students are in a comfortable environment where they study. Those are post-basic people, nurses that come to town and train as eye professional, go back in their own country to work. So the dormitory is currently functioning. And then we have gone beyond that. So even at the Caroline A. Miller School, they needed internet facility. So they submitted proposal, and then we provided funding. PAMOSI provided that funding, and the internet services was okay. Beyond that, Caroline A. Miller funded 14 students at the Cottington University. So they came to PAMOSI and said, well, we need help.
Graduate or undergraduate?
Graduate program.
Masters?
No, I mean an undergraduate
Okay.
program.
Okay.
So those students graduated from Caroline A. Miller, and then they needed to go to university to get a first degree. And Caroline A. Miller never had money. So they asked Pamosi to see how they can help. And Pamosi provided some funding in that direction. The children are currently in Continental University going to school. So, I mean, this is just few of
Are you
those-
paying their full tuitions?
we are partnering with another group. So we gave them like 50% support, and the other group gave them 50% support.
And
That's how it works.
the group you partner with, what's the name of the group?
Well, it's Vision Awake for Africa Development. They are the one that source for funding. So our role is to empower that organization to provide a scholarship for them. So we don't have an oversight responsibility on their function. So they read a proposal to us, and we see that the proposal is relevant, and then we say, well, let's fund this aspect of the proposal. So that's how it works. And then we also work in Togo. Togo, we have established. I mean, we have provided funding for a community-based project like they do agriculture. We fund agriculture-based program in Togo. Most of the program we do in Togo is agriculture-based, and we work with this cooperative. And some of the activities that microfinancing, and then we fence their crops. They empower people who are dropped out from school to come back and have a second chance to go to school and learn trade. And they have a vocational training program for students. I mean, just to name few. So we have had significant impacts in those two communities. For Zambia, Chipo will talk about what are some of the activities that we are implementing in Zambia.
Okay, let me hear from Chipo. I'll come back to you, Dr. Dodo.
Yes. Like just to amplify more on what Robert has said, we have a special component in relation to dedicate resources towards the education, and all the co-founders are true believers that education is the best equalizer. And like from one of our co-founders, like Kalen King, she's a retired teacher, so we have very strong passionate about ensuring that education definitely provides equal opportunities for everybody. So in all the three countries that we're operating, we have special funds where we support education. For example, the Ango in Zambia, there are a number. Early pregnancies is one of the issues that communities talk about, and you find that maybe a young girl gets pregnant along the way, and the government came up with a very good policy of re-entry policy, that child can still go back to school. In many cases, those children, they don't go back to the same school where they were, they go to a different school. And sometimes that school might be a little bit further, so distance becomes an issue. So we do have a bicycle project where we provide bicycles for such kind of girls to ease the distance from their homes to the school that they choose to go to, so that we supplement in terms of the education package alongside the.
That is in Zambia?
That is in Zambia.
Zambia, just only Zambia.
That is only in Zambia, and also in Togo as well. There's some bicycle project as well. Yeah. So, but
what's about Liberia? Because we are in the same fray.
We're in the same kind of. It's the same kind of issue. Maybe I think we start with Zambia, and then we are getting the lessons.
Right.
So we're going to share the lessons on how that could also be best done. But I think, as you have said, it's a really big issue across many African countries in terms of early pregnancies, and on how that becomes a huge challenge in continuing with the education. And one of the projects that we have in Zambia, for example, we constructed a library. So this is a resource center which is typically in the rural areas. And as you are aware, access to books, access to literature sometimes can be challenging in the rural areas. So we have constructed a library right in the village where people around that facility can access computer lessons. People around that facility, we do have like a public TV. They can access information through the public TV that is being provided, and also books as literature. So it's becoming more of a community hub where people can get information as well. In one of the hospitals, in one of the districts in southern province of the country, we constructed a relatives of patients shelter. So in many cases, we have different hospitals around or different clinics around the country. And when the cases is severe, some patients get referred to the district general hospital. And if your relative or you do not have relatives around town, yeah, you don't have relatives. Let me give you an example of Monrovia. So you get referred from one rural clinic, and then you come to the general hospital in Monrovia, and you don't have many relatives in Monrovia. So as a relative of that patient, you become vulnerable. So we constructed a shelter where relatives of patients can stay when their relatives are admitted in the hospital. So it's one of the projects that I'm very excited about. Actually, looking forward to the completion of it, which is at 99%, and the community as well. They're very excited about the project.
Those are
as
good
well.
projects, but
Yeah.
they are mainly in Zambia or in Togo. But I'm concerned about Liberia.
Yeah,
In Liberia as well.
We
Like
should-
for
this-
example, in Liberia as well, we have access to water
right.
is very key.
Yeah.
And I think many philosophers talk about how water is life. So we have actually constructed a number of water points in the country where communities, it's like hand pumps, like
Yeah.
boreholes or wells, and communities around the places get excited. And I think maybe Robert can really
Yeah,
maybe
but-
highlight.
but before we get to that,
Yeah.
Abdul, I'm curious to know as to whether the projects, both in both three countries, those that are directly benefiting from the projects, are they taking ownership of them? Do you do fight funding mission as to whether they are maintaining them, or they are taking good care of them?
So let me give you an example of a water point, a well, and on how the communities or the people that we sort of support with such kind of projects takes the ownership of the projects. So in many cases, you find that traditional leaders, one, they provide land where that's well, where that water point is going to be drilled, and I think that is ownership, one step ownership. And you find that sometimes they, and all the time, they create a committee, a water point committee that comprises of many different key players within that particular committee, including maybe teachers, traditional leaders, the young people, women, taking care in terms of maintenance and also management, effective management of that kind of water point. And I think, yes, the ownership is there and the excitement is there. And also there's sustainability. Where possible, where we do a project, we link with government structure. And as you all know, like government has got established structures in the communities. So we link with those particular government structures for sustainability, because we do not want to just do a project and it becomes a white elephant. We want projects and we want facilities to be used and we want facilities to be sustained, but at the same time we want those.
Is that happening here in Liberia?
Yes.
It is war, yes,
Yes.
it is happening in
So
Liberia.
you talk about ownership. I just want to come to the point
Yes,
where
sir.
we're talking about ownership. So just this gone Sunday, Easter Sunday, which was the 31st, we dedicated a 3 apartment for health workers. Now the community provided land. It was constructed. The community participated from start to finish. They provided local materials. They even contributed money towards that. And then after that, the community turned over that project to the county health team of Nima, in fact, to Nima County Health Team. So, well, we have constructed this. It's for the Nima County Health Team. It's for your staff. All we want is we want you to assign health workers here so that they can be able to cater to our people. So that's ownership. They gave it to the government, a for you government tickets. We want you to assign competent people in our community. That's significant. That's ownership. The community built it, they build it, and then they turn it over to government. Now, alongside that, the eye clinic, it was built, and then it was turned over to New South Arsenal to run it. That's ownership. We are taking control of that. Additionally, they also work with a local family foundation where they provide funding, and that family foundation, we see there are a lot of blind people in the street with their children behind them begging. I mean, it's dehumanizing. You are blind. Your child is supposed to go to school. Behind you, going from place to place to beg. What become of the future of that child? It's just in limbo.
Yeah.
It's in limbo. You see. So what our local foundation does is they help that child that is beyond that person begging. Say, "Come, we will educate you at least through high school. Go to school and learn something so that you can be able to help your siblings."
I see that happening all across Monrovia. This is something many.
It is, and
So, yeah.
so that local foundation, so Pamosi provide funding for Carter D Foundation, and then that foundation help these children that are behind the beggars to send them to schools to empower them. That by itself is a huge impact project. Alongside that, they also go to visit the school of the blind institutions, and then they also donate things to the schools, provide canes, provide uniform, get them some food stuff. So I mean, Pamosi does not just do it directly, but they work with local groups
To identify,
the problem, the
problems.
needs, and then that way at least we impact the society. Government cannot do it all, and if you are far-sighted, you say, well, this is the problem. How can we help towards solving this problem? Few years ago, when New South Art Center came into being, it was just the Rotary Club of Sinko just provided a little funding. New South Art Center was just a 2-bedroom facility with 4 staff. But look at what we have achieved today. We have our own 2-story building. We have over 60 staff. We have supported the government to establish eye clinic in Basel, eye clinic in Nimba, and we have also established one in Banga. So that itself is an empowerment. We are providing job for citizens. We are treating people, and then we also involved with Pamosi with local communities project. And it is not only limited to Togo. It's not limited to Zambia. It's also extending here in Liberia. That's the only thing we can do to support the government effort. I mean, everybody cannot work for government. You know that. You have to help the community. So yeah. So I mean, I just want to add to what my good friend Chipo was saying.
Exactly, and I think there's always power in partnership.
Right.
And I think when you partner with communities, when you partner with stakeholders, you create that ownership in a very big way. And I think from your question, when you talked about the ownership, and I think it's one key that we take into consideration. And even when we work with communities, we see it as partnership. Yeah, it's not someone coming from some different organization and coming to impose projects. And this is why we recommend projects that are organic, projects that are community driven. And that partnership is what is key, because we partner with people, connect ourselves with one another to create change in that particular community.
It seems like Pamosi has a very huge budget. You got a very fat account.
No, not that we have
because of the kind of projects that you want to take in 3 countries. They are enormous.
No, it's not that we have a huge budget, but we manage our resources in a way that it will impact the community. That's how it works. We work within the confinement of what we are able to raise from other resources. So we raise funds from charitable organizations, from philanthropy organizations, from individuals. They give little money, and we'll compile all this money together to make it other projects so that we can help communities. Some people give like $500, $100, And the good thing about Pamosi is not we don't make decisions because you are a white person or you are a black person. We are all equal as co-founders. We make equal decisions, and then we come up with equal projects. So that we say, well, let's look at this community and see, and we vet the projects together. We all look at the project and see the most impactful project that will be sustaining for a very long time. So
I see a lot of demands coming out from the communities now after this interview. Your decks will be full will be filled with a lot of letter requests. Hope you stand ready to accept them.
Right. Yeah, we already have tons of proposal, but we are looking at the impactful one. And it's not just bringing proposal, but what can you contribute as community member towards that project?
Exactly. And also in every particular country, there are a number of key players.
Right.
There are a number of organizations, non-government organizations that are doing a lot of work within countries and our communities, and even government. So there will be requests that probably New Side Eye Center might receive, but by virtue that we are collaborating with all these other partners, it might not be New Side Center.
What are the projects will be need for at a particular point in time?
Information for government to take up the challenge. It could be information for other NGOs to take up a community or the challenge, or it could be information for some communities to take up the actual definite challenge. I will still go back to give an example of the Nimba community. What I saw in Nimba is amazing. What I saw in Nimba with that particular community where we constructed 3 houses for health workers is a group of young people like turned up in huge numbers, unbelievable numbers, to work, to dig the foundation, and to just be available to support the completion of the project. And I think that is so unique itself. Is communities may not give money. Communities may give local resources that they have. It could be in form of labor. It could be in form of local materials that they have, and also the collaboration. Because during the handover of that project, we saw the district commissioner was present. Elders of chiefs were present. The paramount chief was present, and just a number of community groups were present. And that setup is fertile ground for decision making as a community. So
and the value of that project that is in Bunading is around $45,000. 3-bedroom, 3 apartments.
45,000.
Yeah, the value of that project is around $45,000.
What's about the one in Banga?
The one in Banga is valued around $28,000, right? And then now one particular thing about the Bunading project, the engineer is from that local community. We needed to pay the engineer over $20,000, but he said, "Well, I'm from this community. I'm going to, give my best." So you see, the labor cost was reduced.
He's an asset to the community.
Exactly so. And then not only the engineer, the people of that community work with their strength, their labor, their everything. They put it into that project to make sure that, if this group is able to give us this amount, then whatever we ourselves, we need to provide the time. So the work. So you see, so that by itself is the community initiative, is what the community have appreciated, and they provide towards that project as their contribution. And it will not only stop there. Maintenance of the building. So we anticipate, or we expect, that Ministry of Health or the county health team will provide oversight responsibility to continue with the maintenance of that building. So we still have another project. The community still have another project. The teachers too. I mean, we can't need to focus on the health worker and forget about the teacher. You see, teachers too, because they have a high school there now, and government will soon, Ministry of Education, will soon be assigned teachers there. So the ownership is there. The problem is there, but we just want to mitigate and solve some of these problems so that at least we can buttress what government is doing.
There are some point in time that individuals would like to come over to institution of yours and for assistance personally. Those that are in dire need of some complicated health conditions. They have been asked to have some international assistance and all the things, to travel to all the countries for assistance, for health, or for their health to improve. Has there been a point in time that you received such a request?
It is not part of our objectives.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't look at individual, we look at communities.
But in case somebody is in a dire need and the person is an asset to the community.
Yeah, let the government take responsibility of that. We have our set objectives that we follow, because if we deviate from our objectives, at the end of the day, I mean, we will be a confused, philanthropy organization, just catching things.
The reason I'm asking, because as we open the lines, you'll hear some of these requests.
I know. No, we don't go that route.
Okay.
Yeah. And how do we approach project is, I'm the in-country focused person, and then you send the proposal to the in country, and we get a time that we can send our, we can open for proposal. If that proposal come, I have to screen line it first. I will not just take everything and dump it to them. Screen line it and look at the most effective ones. Even if it gets to the co-funders, they too have to screen line it and make sure that it's impactful. And then our board, we have a board of directors. The board are informed. They are involved into this thing too. So the board too have to approve whatever projects that we want to implement. If that project does not meet our standard, forget it. We will not.
So how long are you operating in each country? Is it a continual process?
As long as we have funding. As long as we have funding and we have the number of funding that we need to implement a project. It doesn't mean if we have the money, we'll spend all in all the 3 counties. Sometimes we can decide that, well, we don't have enough funding this fiscal year. So let's look at a very impactful project maybe in Zambia or in Togo or in Liberia to implement. The reason we are implementing projects in the 3 counties is because our co-funders are from these counties and we have a link.
They are from the countries.
They are from the countries, sorry. They are from these countries and we have a link there. We don't just implement project if we don't know anybody, because we want to have that authentic relationship with the community or with the country.
In terms of all of what you do for your communities or for the communities, for the people in Liberia, Zambia, and Togo, what have you gathered so far in terms of appreciation? Are the people, do you see, are they happy with what you do? Are there resounding messages from them?
Yes, I think yes. There's a lot of appreciation. There's a lot of appreciations from communities, individuals, and also coordinating partners, even government itself. For example, as I said, I'll say it again. Like sometimes you find that maybe government could be operating from it could be a challenging resource envelope. So when we partner with the government to do something, there's appreciation from the government point of view, and also there's appreciation from individuals, and also there's change. And I think above all, there should be good change. There could be great impact. There should be great impact in that particular community. So, for example, there are school projects. Yeah, this child never used to go to school. They had given up for going to school because they thought the distance is far from where they're supposed to be going. It could be a child with a disability, and then we provide the bicycle. The child continues going to school. They makes it to the next grade, and there's appreciation from both ends, from the parents and from the child, from communities as well. So yeah, I would say definitely there's a lot of appreciation.
And additionally, with the type of appreciation we actually embrace is to make sure that that project is sustainable by the community members. Once after some years, maybe 2-3 years, we go back, we say, oh yes, this is the project we work with the community to establish. And then it's still existing and it's in good shape. Sustainability.
That alone motivates you to do more.
It's a good motivation.
Yeah.
But that's what we stand for, It's very important.
5 years from now, where do we stand? What is your expectation as an institution?
We expect to grow. As an institution, we expect to expand our scope in other communities, provided if we have the needed funding. It's very challenging to raise funds. And then for donor to entrust you to say, look, man, I will give you this money and use it for whatever purpose, and then give me feedback. It's very difficult. So if we have enough funding, we want to expand our scope in the country we are working in. And then we also look at matching fund. Maybe an organization will say, well, assuming I have 25,000, I want you to match it so that we can implement this project. If we notice that the project is worth it, yes, we can also work in that direction, because once a fund is matched, it also helps us to work within our scope of operation. So we're looking at organizations that have fund and they want to match it. We can work with them and then implement the project. So 5 years from now, we don't want to be at this stage. We want to grow bigger than this. So we want to link with a bigger institution, a bigger organization that will help us and see that, yeah, this is the work Pamosi Philanthropy have done in the 3 countries, and this is what we can do for them. So we're looking at linkage. We're looking at organizations that are willing to sponsor other organizations to ensure that we provide needed services to the community.
And also, maybe 5 years from now, we want to be identified as one of the organizations that is living the legacy.
Right.
So they're living the legacy of change, of having created change, or living the legacy of an organization that created impact in the community, living the legacy of an organization that worked with partners and they created change in the livelihood of the people. So, for example, take an example of like education. We want to be part of the celebration. So there's a bigger celebration in addition to appreciating the projects for everybody in where we do these projects, for example. So there'll be like students graduating from universities. There'll be students graduating from high school. There will be health workers living in some different quarters. There will be teachers living in healthcare. So we want to be part of that celebration in relation to what we've done so far, because we believe the projects that we do have continuous impact on the livelihood of the people.
Well, listeners, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show this morning. My guest, I from Pamosi Philanthropic Advisors. Of course, the Chipo Chia. He's from Zambia. And that of our Dr. Robert Fondolo. He's from right here, Liberia. They are co-founders of Pamosi Philanthropic Advisors here in 3 countries, Zambia, Togo, and Liberia. If you're out there this morning and you want to form part of the discussion, you can call, place in your call on 0880-514-096, 0880-514-096, or you can call on this alternative line, 077-5978-530, 077-5978-530. You can call and be a part of the conversation this morning. Maybe you didn't understand some of the things that they talked about, but you can call and inquire from them. Let me speak with this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Melvin Stewart, and good morning to your studio guys.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is D. Segajipo Nangwestuna, and I'll call you right now from Monrovia, around Monrovia resident.
Okay, go ahead, Segajipo Nangbe, my old good friend in the media.
Yeah, that's true for a very long time anyway. But I think thank you to the studio guests for their effort and contribution thus far to the country Liberia and the other African countries they are working in. My attention is drawn to basically their efforts in Liberia. Firstly, we don't have I don't hear them say anything about their address, because for me, frankly, I'm interested in meeting them to discuss some partnership discussion. So number one is their location, so as to know. Some of us who have not met them, so we can be able to meet them, or if they have their website address, some of us can be able to access it and get in touch with them. And secondly, I work in Riverside County, and I've not heard them talking anything about like outside of Monrovia or Wilpon County, and so whether there are other plans to go in other counties with these projects, because they are tangible projects that are so very sustainable and impactful. I need to see to show if their effort to go out. So that's my concern. Thank you very much, and I follow you closely on this program.
Thank you. 08805140960, 0775978-530. Come and be a part of the conversation this morning. My guest had from Pamosi Philanthropic Advisors. We're talking about the activities in Liberia and other countries, Zambia and Togo. You can call and ask them some questions and make some recommendations as well. They might not know everything. You need to tell them what they should do for you. So call and be a part of the conversation. 07759785300 0880514 but let's hear the first concern. You can just address the concern of Sekachibo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, we appreciate your comment. So the in-country focus person is Rabo Dolo, and I will give you my email address after at the end of this show. But we also out of Monrovia, we in Banga, which is Bon County, and we're also in Nimba, around a community in Nimba called Bunading. And additionally, we also build capacity. We involve into capacity building, we involve into infrastructure upgrading and things like that.
So he was talking about reverses.
Yeah.
What are you people intend to extend some of your projects to those places?
If the need is there, this is why I'm saying, well, I will send my email address, and then we can start, we can pick up from that end.
Okay, let's hear this person. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Okay. I'm Gifla. I'm calling from Johnsonville area. I like the program. I'm interested in the program, especially where they talk about Bunadin, where I served before as one of the OICs in the clinic there. It sounds interesting. But there's one thing I just like to suggest. In terms of the sustainability factor, I would suggest if they can work through the structure we have called the HFDC, that we, through the Ministry of Health, but the Community Health Department. That department is the one that gives the authority to the community people. It's a structure that have each member from the surrounding villages that support the clinic. They are the owners of the health facility. And then so if you work through them in terms of the sustainability and maintenance, they can help you to keep maintenance and activity on the facilities you build, because they are involved in some other activity that can also bring funding to the health facility. So that's just a suggestion I'd like to add. But the program is a fine program, and I think it's good if they can have the fundings to scale up.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Please pay attention to the phone.
Yeah.
What's the name? Morning.
Yes, good morning. This is Mo Adam, I'm from the GSA Rural Community.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm into farming, livestock farming. So I just want to ask the city girl, what is that plan on agriculture? I'm actually into livestock farming. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 08805140096 08805140096 or 07759785300 07759785300. Call and be a part of the conversation this morning. Okay, let me hear from this person, then we will get back to our guest. Morning. Good morning. Good morning, caller. You see, if you don't want to participate on the program, you need to leave the line for others to call, please, because you can call and you don't want to talk. Just holding the line, and there's others want to call as well, okay? So be attentive when you call so that we talk the talk. But like the two callers say, you wouldn't mind to just talk about their concerns?
Yeah. Our good friend Gavlov from Johnsonville, thank you for that recommendation. The HSDC, I think they were represented during the program. Even the county health team was represented. So well noted. We will engage them when it comes to the maintenance of that building. And thank you for your beautiful comment. Regarding livestock farming, yeah, we are doing that in Togo because it's a cooperative that we are working with in Togo. So if it is something that we need to do here, we need to lesson learned, the best practice from Togo can help us to see what we can scale down to Liberia. So we cannot give you the clear cut yes whether we will initiate that in Liberia, but it's something that we can also study in the long run and see.
Yeah, and also maybe just coming on to the third caller who's talking about livestock farming. So one of the things around livestock, I'm a livestock farmer as well myself. Yeah, one of the key things is water. Yeah, so if you have got good water for your animals, domestic animals, then you're expected to have good milk. You can sell the milk, and yeah, you change your livelihood, or you can then eventually send your children to school. So I think that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Zambia we have done a couple of water points, and those water points are specifically for drinking water for the people, of course, but also the water is used for drinking for the cows or domestic animals that people do keep. So that is like we are part of probably one of the suggestions in terms of programs that could be done in relation to farming, livestock farming.
Okay, let me take a few more calls. Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good. Are you getting me?
You are live. Please go ahead.
This is the voice of Emmanuel Z. Morgan. I joined from 540 Peace Army from Western Pacific. Yeah, let me say kudos to our philanthropists. But then all the discussion, I have not heard about the CEO, his name, and how the organization was funded. And also, I want him to specify it to us how they get our jobs, because you find that one of our problems is the just issue right now. You go into a clinic, into a place where they do all your testing, but then to get a job because of issues. So I want you to explain to us.
But I don't think that is their own. But anyway, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You care to speak to that, Mr.
We are not into drugs. And we stated from the beginning how we were funded in USA, Connecticut, and it's a US based organization. So, but thank you for your comment anyway. We appreciate that.
And also maybe just like in relation to, because we work with New Sight Eye Center, and their specialty is around the eyes. So therefore, there's a beautiful clinic in Monrovia here, and if the person is around there, and sight is everything, so they have trained personnel that can do the operations, and they can make recommendations of the eye health if that person really needs in terms of the eye health kind of services. But yeah.
Okay, we don't have time now, but I care to know about your challenges in all of what you do. Are there challenges?
There are.
What are they?
One of our major challenges that we see is to galvanize resources to implement those projects. You know, we have to go around to donors, agency, write them and ask them for whatever money they gave us, and then how can we apportion that? So fundraising, which we try as much as possible to work around, is very important. Yeah, so far those are one of the major problems.
Yeah, and I think it's funding, but also I don't want to say it is a challenge, but I think it's like it's a great opportunity to inform others, to work with government, and also to work with other different people. It's like the need. Yeah, so the need is huge versus the resources that we do have. So there's a lot of need, there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed in our communities. But I think when that comes, like I think as he said, like we have a number of proposals that are not yet funded. So it comes to the funding, but also is like globally, all the communities are struggling with a number of issues, drought and lack of water and things like that. So how do we really work together to ensure that we provide services for everybody?
Finally,
I just want to thank you for this opportunity to come to the registration so that we can talk about our program. But also I want to talk about in terms of like, thanks to Robert, he's a great asset of the nation. I would say he's a great asset of the nation. He's my brother. we have worked together for a number of years. But I think his passion to provide service for the community, I see it as a big asset. And let's take advantage in terms of contacting Site I Center and see how we can together see what are the opportunities available for creating change in our communities.
Thank you. You say you are going to share your email with somebody?
Yeah. So it's the letter N as in November, right? NSECED@gmail.com. I read it again. NSECED@gmail.com. If you want to contact me, 0886 96 8316. 0886 96 8316. And again, I want to say thank you very much. Again, one of the former president of United States said, not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country to live a better life. So let's make Liberia and Africa a better place for us to live. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, they've been my guests. They come from Pamosi Philanthropic Advisors in persons of Mr. Chipo Chia from Zambia and that of Dr. Robert Fondolo from Liberia. They are all co-founders of Pamosi Philanthropic Advisors. They've been my guests on the first lap of the program this morning. Well, we're taking this break and hopefully we will usher in our next guest. He's Senator Momo Cyrus of Lofa County. He's my final guest on the program this morning. Hope that he's around here now. So just keep listening to this radio. My name is Melvin Stewart. I will be back shortly.